to the Sabrprints2A Show. Hey, how's it going, guys? Hopefully you guys are having a great day. Today, as a guest of mine, I have Trollwerks. How you doing, man?
Pretty good, man. How are you doing?
Good, man, good. I just finished up watching the P80 Rouse show. Your build was on
Yeah,
it.
watch it, man. I started watching that. I like watching all those builds and hearing people's comments on it, man.
Yeah, man. What did you think about the winner, bro?
It was pretty dope, man. I mean, I like that kind of stuff, because that was the one that was like all pink and blue and purple, right?
Yeah, like he took his
Yeah,
time.
I mean, I like that shit. The thing is, some people try to get all super tactical and stuff. I'm not. When it comes to 3D guns, I'm not into that. I mean, I had enough of that in my background, so now I wanna see color, man, on my guns. So.
Yeah, man, I understand where you're coming from. I think when I started doing my prints, it was pink and like this baby blue. So I got into it because of the color. I mean, to me, 3D printing seemed like you could do whatever you wanted. You know, whatever came up to your mind, you could actually go out and create it. I think that's what I think we're missing a little bit of it. I mean, it's still going hard, but a lot of people are trying to get more tactical. I feel like go buy a gun and build it yourself, I don't know. What's your opinion?
Well, a little bit about me. I spent a long time in the Army. I did about 20 years, and I got to play with guns all the time because I was in the infantry. So, like, everything, pretty much that the Army had, from the M9 Beretta to, like, M16s, A4s, M4s, and everything in between, M203s, M249s, M240 Bravos, AT4s, Mark 19s, M250 cal. I played with it all, and guess what? It was all black, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I'm like I'm tacticaled out. I want something that's like bright and in your face and looks like a damn Nerf gun or something. And that's what I think. At least that's the way I'm approaching the 3D printed stuff. Black is boring, man. So is the other like new rage now is FDE. I mean, that's been, like, I say now, but it's been the rage for like the last 15 years or so. OD green is kind of picking up in the last year or two, but I mean, it's all tactical colors. But why would you want to do that with a 3D printed gun, when you can have like purple or orange or green, or like, you can do anything you want, man. You're not limited to just something that camouflages well. I mean,
correct. I think because recently there's been a lot of stuff going around with that gray man theory.
Yeah. I don't I don't think that's not a bad thing. I mean, that's not a good thing. I think gray man theory is like spot on. I practice gray man theory, right? But when I'm practicing gray man theory, I've got like my my EDC, which is a Glock 26, and it is an all black gun. But when I'm going to the range with my 3D guns, I mean, those things are nice and colorful: greens, blue, orange, whatever, purple.
Yeah, I seen your work, man. I love your work. Also, thank
Thanks,
you
man.
for your service, man. That's
Thank you.
amazing that you served so
Support.
long.
Yeah.
So I was gonna ask you, how did you get into guns? But pretty much already told us.
I've always been into guns, man. Like, from the time I was young. It was funny because, like, my mom didn't even want me to buy me a BB gun. I got into paintball guns like at 14, and then, I got to go play with the real shit once I was 18. And then, kind of been into it ever since. And honestly, I didn't even have like a large collection most of the time I was in the Army, because I'm like, well, shit, if World War III kicks off, I'm just gonna use whatever weapon I'm assigned and go, do the Army's mission wherever. So I had a small collection for most of my time in the Army, and it wasn't until the last few years in service that I started building up my own collection. And really, I bought a few more during COVID, and then I was bored. I was like, man, I have enough guns to arm my whole family. Everybody can have 2 long guns and 2 handguns.
Correct.
What do I do now? And then I was like, I want to learn how to build my own gun. So, Yeah, I ordered a couple of Ghost Gunner 3s, and
Hmm.
then they were going to take forever to come in. I was like, well, I'm going to buy a 3D printer and start 3D printing guns. So that's what I did.
So that's how you got into 3D printing during COVID.
Yeah,
And
sure did.
I think a lot of us got into either buying more guns during COVID or actually 3D printing. So that's cool,
Yeah.
man. What are you working on right now that you're actually really excited about doing?
A couple things. So as far as builds go, I've got I'm finishing up an arc. It's going to be really nice. It kind of looks like a Nerf theme. It's purple and orange and bright e-silk green.
Damn.
Uh, it's a 45 caliber with a 10.5 inch barrel. It's gonna kick, man. It's gonna be a nice gun. So I'm real excited to finish that up. I think I've got like 2 things left to do on it. I might even be able to take it to the range on Sunday. I got another the blue one with the skulls. That's ready for test fire. And then I'm starting to print the King Cobra. I'm doing that. I think I showed one of the reels. It's kind of bright green and purple. It's going to be like a Joker themed King Cobra.
That's
So that's it. Oh, and then the build after that, I'm going to do
hmm.
the FGC 9 Mark II.
Oh, okay, cool. I was gonna
Go
ask
ahead.
you, how did your family take it, man? Like, did they? You were already in the military, and I'm pretty sure they were pretty okay with it. But when you started getting into 3D printing, what did they think?
I don't know. They didn't really think about it too much at all. To be honest, like my wife was kind of anti-gun when I first met her. I met her when I was stationed in Germany, and she's from Europe, and she was, over there, like guns are not an everyday occurrence. It's not quite Texas over there. In fact, very few people have it, depending on the country. I mean, I know Switzerland, like everybody's got a gun, but most of the other countries, like you can't have a gun unless you're a cop or you're military or you're law enforcement. So my wife was kind of uneasy about me having a gun. I'm like, baby, I'm a soldier. Like that's what I do. I play with guns every day, right? So relax. I'm not gonna like shoot you in your sleep or something. Um, and then like the first time I took her to the range, she like freaked out because somebody had like a big hand cannon next to us,
Oh, I
and
hate
like
that,
they started
man.
firing it, and she freaked the fuck. Even though she had like hearing protection on,
Yeah,
she freaked the fuck out, ran out. So it was kind of funny. Well, I took her back like to an outdoor range the following, like several years later, and we shot. And then she actually said she enjoyed it, so that was pretty cool. Now she doesn't really like go to the range with me much, but she's completely comfortable with me like playing with my guns. I like use my laser to play with the dog and stuff. But she sees all my shit all over the place, all the 3D printed guns I'm working on. I basically occupied half of her kitchen island by force, and she, I know she's not real excited about it, but
yeah. I did the same thing. I'm like at the kitchen at the moment, and I need to start cleaning the garage so I could move over there because it's going overboard, man.
yeah.
I think I like working in the kitchen because it's close to the fridge, and
Hmm.
I could just get up and make myself something to eat and then come back and start working.
Yeah. I kind of work in like 2 spots. My printer's in my bedroom, and I've got like a table there, and then of course my computer's here, and I do all my Cura slicing and stuff,
Hmm.
and all the CAD here. But then when it's time to like pound on something, and push pins
Yeah,
in, even I go to the kitchen, and then for like all my painting, I guess I got 3 spots. All my painting and like Dremel sanding and shit, I go out on the back patio.
that's
So
dope. And so you were saying, where do you stay? You want to say where you're from? Are you from Texas or no?
yeah, I'm in Texas, man, like one of the last free states, right?
Yeah, yeah, man. Texas is dope. I've been wanting to move to Texas. Actually, I'm tired of California, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't blame. I couldn't live in California, man. My sister used to live out in California. I couldn't do it. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna be honest. One of the probably the reasons we're still in California is because when we bought the house, we got it. We got in at a good time, So we're not
Yeah.
even paying that much for the house. I think we're one of the few people that are actually for the home. You know, we're only paying like 1,200 a month,
Mm.
and you can't get that anywhere else in California, especially for a home. You know, so
No, for California, that's like super cheap, man.
yeah, man. So that, like, to be honest, like I said, that's the only reason we're still here. But I think my mom is getting kind of tired, and I'm looking for something like Texas too. I mean, I want some land where I could actually shoot. You know, I can't shoot
Yeah.
out here. That's the only thing I don't like.
Well, P80 Ralph just moved over here, I think,
Yeah, I
down the
noticed
San
that. That's
Antonio
dope.
area.
Yeah,
And go ahead.
he was somewhere in the East Coast, huh?
Yeah, so Maryland, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And
There's quite a few of us in Texas now. So I know like Guns from the Grave, he's up by Dallas.
is
No,
it?
there's quite a few guys
Yeah,
up in.
I think Guns from the Grave moved back to Florida.
Oh, the
Yeah, I
yeah,
think.
that's right. He was from Dallas, right? And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
he
and then
something like
he
that. Anyway,
yeah.
but there's a few here in Texas. We should all get together and have a big fucking powwow. Actually, what we should do is meet up down in Austin with like the Ghost Gunner guys, Def Cat and Cody Wilson or whatever.
Yeah, that'll be dope.
That would be pretty cool, man.
Yeah, and it's not a bad drive. I would go if it would happen. What was I gonna ask you? So, what do you think of the Glocknovsky, man?
Dude, I think it's a pretty cool design. I was actually expecting somebody to do something like that, and
Yeah,
I think that I print shit doing it. I think he did a good job doing it, man. And then I just saw, Danny Meatball's design for the double barrel, fucking the Dick and Balls
yeah,
drum mag,
yeah,
man.
man,
It
the
was
Dick and
fucking
Balls
dope.
drum mag.
I think they're gonna call it the Glock and Balls.
Yeah, Glock and Balls. Or I was telling him he should paint it blue and call it the blue
The
balls.
blue balls.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll be sick. I mean, I'm excited for that drop, to be honest.
yeah.
What other drops are you excited for?
Man, I don't know. I mean, there's always some good stuff coming out, but honestly, like I'm just trying to get through the stuff that's already out and like get to the point where I can say safely that I've done a significant number of the stuff that's out there. I don't know. I wouldn't mind doing some beta stuff for somebody, but I don't know. I'm kind of just focused on getting all my techniques right, and making sure I do quality work, and I'm able to print off all the big named ones, like the FGC9 Mark II, the Arc, Invader Zip did a real bang up job, man. A great job with the Arc, and I mean, I think it's awesome. He's got so many like variations you can do, different barrel length, handguard length, tips, and grip braces and stuff. Man, he put a lot of damn work into that, and kudos. My hats go off to him. So yeah, I'm excited to build the stuff that's already out there, man.
Yeah, man. I've been wanting to get into the Arc, and the more that I see it, the more that I fall in love with it. Invader Sip always does a good job with his stuff, man. Shout out to him. But
Yeah,
yeah, man, there's just a lot of stuff at the moment that is so nice, and it's hard to figure out what I want to get into next.
yeah. And one of the things I really like is how cool everybody in the community seems to be, man. Like guys like Invader Zip, taking their time out to help you finish a build.
Oh yeah, you
And
saw that with Rich? He got on
yeah,
with
well,
Rich and
he
told him.
offered that to me. Like I was like,
Oh, he
I got
did?
some rubbing. He's like, well, let me help you with that.
Damn,
And
that's
he's taking
dope.
time out of his day to kind of help me troubleshoot something, man. That's like
Yeah, you
that's
don't see
cool. You
that
don't see
anywhere else,
that in like
bro.
every hobby, man, or
No, you
every
don't. You know what people do? They try to pay, like, they're like, oh, well, if you want help, come to my class and pay this much and I'll help you out,
Yeah,
you know?
I know,
Nah,
I know,
man.
man.
So I was going to ask you a question. How long have you been printing for, bro?
Yeah, I've been printing for just under a year.
Damn, man, your stuff
Mm,
is nice, bro.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Yeah, that's cool. And that's what I enjoy about the community. Like, if you really put yourself out there and you try, people will help you out. Also, if you start working on your settings, you'll be printing some fire stuff real quick. You know,
Yeah,
you just gotta be very, just keep trying every day, consistent. You know.
yeah, exactly. And like I for the longest time, man, I'm not gonna lie, I tried to kind of cut some corners when I was getting into it.
Yeah.
One of the things I was doing, I was using like I have a Dremel Digilab 3D45,
Mm-hmm.
and I was trying to use like their Dremel Digi Slicer,
Yeah.
which is very basic. I mean, it's like super basic slicer. And eventually, I ended up switching to Cura, but Cura, of course, gives you a lot of different options to a lot of different settings you can change.
Correct.
And so when I did that, man, like my knowledge just kind of like exploded in the 3D world. Like I didn't have to worry about like low quality, high quality. I had a lot of other settings I had to worry about. So
Exactly. Yeah, bro. Like, I'm still finding settings in Cura that I didn't even know existed. Like, I don't know if you tried it, the fuzzy setting.
oh, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it, but I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah. So I was looking at two eight three D's stuff, and I saw that little adapter for the 26, so you could add the 19 barrel on top, the one I purchased from him. And I would say like, why is it so nice? I guess it's probably because of that setting. So then finally when I ordered the part and I saw it, I'm like, yeah, he's using that fuzzy setting. I don't know what level because somebody on Reddit posted like a video of the setting and the different. I'll try to look for it and I'll send it to you. So it has levels, bro, and then there's like this. Do you know the one that you're able to do like like instead of just tree supports, you're able to do different type of supports? Have you tried that one?
Um, well, so I know that there's like the tree or normal, and then it gives you the pattern for the normal. I guess is that what you're talking about, or are you talking
No,
about other things?
there's this other one that it lets you do like your own customized supports. It's pretty
Is that
dope.
on Kira?
Yeah, yeah. I'll send you the info later on when we finish. But I just somebody had spoken about it last time. I forgot who, and I just tried it a couple weeks back. I printed something and I needed a weird support, and I did it and it worked, man. So once we're done, I'll send you the info. But yeah, man, Cura's always coming up with cool stuff. It surprises me.
Mm,
So the more you get into it, the better your print comes out.
yeah. Yeah, I know. But at the same time, I don't want to like fuck with stuff I don't quite understand
Yeah,
yet, too. Like I mean, my prints are turning out really good now, at least with some materials. So like PLA Plus
yeah.
turns out really good. Like I have great success with that right now. The eSun PLA Plus.
I love you, son.
I've been playing around with some of the more exotic materials like polycarbonate and carbon fiber reinforced polycarbonate and nylon and stuff.
How do you like it, bro?
Nylon's not too bad. The polycarbonate, like I printed, I don't know if you saw the clear one where I'm holding it up to the light and you
Yeah,
can kind
yeah,
of see the
yeah.
magazine through. That's Polymaker Polylight polycarbonate, and I think it's great, man. I mean, it's got a little bit of a tendency to warp, but like you
Correct.
can literally fix it with a heat gun. So that one's gonna be like one of my staples, I think. Um, the carbon fibers honestly have been giving me trouble, and I think I might be printing too fast for that
Mm-hmm.
because I'm like overheating my extruder motor. So I think I just need to slow it down and print nice and slow with that. I upgraded my nozzle, man. I put some Micro Swiss nozzles in. I got a zero point 0.8 in right now.
How do you like those
So
micro Swiss nozzles, bro? Are they like the hype? Do they live up
yeah,
to
they're
the hype?
pretty good, man. I mean, they like, some people say, well, it doesn't transfer heat as well because it's not like pure brass.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't really noticed much difference. Maybe a small amount of difference. And if you turn it up like 5 to 10 Celsius over what you
Exactly.
would normally use with a brass,
Correct.
you'll be fine. So the point 0.8, man, it lets me like print a little bit quicker, or better yet, what's really more important is that it builds like a stronger print overall, I think, than the point 0.4s. Everything I started printing with the point 0.8, man, has just been like rock solid.
Yeah.
Even the only thing that sucks about it is it makes the supports harder to take off.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try it because I've been thinking about messing with the nozzles. You know what I'm
Uh,
gonna try that I ordered? I don't know if you heard of Filacube. It's pretty cheap and it's made in the U.S. It's actually HT PLA plus,
Okay.
and it's only like $25, with tax and everything. And but they have just like black, gray, green, mint, blue, and natural, which is like a see-through one. So
Yeah.
I ordered me a roll of filament, and I'm gonna check it out. Hopefully it works, or hopefully I'm able to print it. Because
Yeah.
certain filaments you gotta make sure you got your settings correctly.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Which is your favorite filament at the moment? Like you said, you really like E-Sun.
For the colors, yeah, like Esun PLA Plus, man, has been awesome. If it doesn't require like high impact,
Mm-hmm.
I printed some nice Glocks with the, believe it or not, the E Silk. I don't know how long those are gonna last, but I do know I shot about 25 rounds through each of my Glock 26s.
What?
Yeah, I mean, like they look awesome. They're silky and stuff.
Yeah.
One of my first build videos had like a pair of green Glock 26s, and I mean, I don't know. Again, I don't know if they'll hold up to like several hundred rounds, but I put 25 in, and no signs of cracking yet. So
Damn.
they look awesome, but
Yeah, I think me and Come Out and Play, we were talking about it. I was trying to do a gold silky Esun silky Glock, and I
uh,
was having trouble with it, man. It kept like warping on me.
oh really?
Yeah, so I just stopped. I mean, I still have the roll. I didn't even finish it. I did a lot of different parts, like the Reapers and stuff like that. But when it
Yeah.
was getting to big prints, that's when I was having trouble.
Actually, the only build I made that gave me trouble with like cracking was I used a Polymaker Polylite Teal ABS,
Mm-hmm.
and it started cracking after about 45 rounds back at the back pin. And other than that, my builds have been pretty good so far. Where's the wood at? I need to knock on wood.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean, that's what I was gonna say. When you were talking about not really messing with your settings that much, I was gonna say if it's not broken, you
Yeah, if it
know,
ain't broke, don't fix it, man.
correct,
But
man.
I do print like a little bit on the high end, so like right now I'm running some green PLA plus, eSun PLA plus, and I think the upper limit of the heat range for the print temp is like 220, and I'm printing it at 220. So
I start my eSun PLA Plus at 226, and
okay,
then from there I lower it to 220. So yeah, like the first couple of layers are 226, and then it goes down to 220.
we gotcha.
Yeah,
So better bed adhesion then.
yeah. I mean, it's been going since because I used to do it like I think I was doing it around 215, 216. But ever
Mm,
since I moved up to the way I'm doing it right now, my prints have been coming out pretty good.
yeah, yeah, because it's important that you get nice and hot so you get good layer adhesion.
Exactly,
If it
man.
if it's not hot, man, it's not going to adhere to the layer underneath it.
So I was gonna ask you another question. How long did you say you were in the service again, man?
Yeah, just over 20 years.
So you were like Desert Storm or no?
Oh no, no, no. So I went active duty in was it 98, and
Okay.
then I got out about 3.5 years ago.
Okay, man. So what are you doing right now? You still working or
Yeah, I do have a job, a job. It's I work for the company that helps soldiers transition out of the military.
all right, yeah,
So
that's dope.
I talk to them about their options after the military, like finding a job or going for their degree or getting some vocational training. So that they don't end up like homeless veterans.
Mhm.
So they have like a life ahead of the army.
Could I ask you something, man? And if you don't
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
answer, yeah. All right. What what do you think is you think what you're doing right now with the 3D printing and with the community, you think it's kind of helping you uh, get used to being into like normal civilian life, like transitioning from the the military life, or what do you say?
Um, I I think it gives me a sense of purpose that I enjoy.
Correct.
Because anybody, of course, can go work a job, but if you don't enjoy it, what's the point?
Correct.
Um, so this is a. I mean, right now it's kind of a hobby, but to be honest with you, I kind of want to make it my job. So I applied for an FFL,
Mhm.
and assuming they approve it, I should be licensed hopefully by like June-ish,
Yeah.
maybe mid-June. Um, and so I'm trying not only to build guns for myself, but I want to like build good habits so that assuming I get my FFL, I can kind of do this stuff for other people too. All of us, we all get requests from like strangers, random
Correct.
strangers. They're like, "Hey man, how much that gun? I'll give you 500 for it. How much you want? Give me, all that bullshit."
Yes.
I got one today. Some dude wanted me to give him a gun for free. I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here,
Bro,
you
let me
dumbass."
tell you what I got today. And I didn't even answer it. As soon as I went to see his stuff, I just didn't answer it. I just did nothing, right? So this guy sent me a message saying hi, right? So
Yeah.
that stuff goes to my request, right? I'm pretty sure it
Uh-huh.
does the same thing to you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So then I checked out his stuff. Usually I check out their stuff first, and if I see
Right.
that, I'll talk to him. If not, I'll forget about him. I see his stuff, bro. This guy's from like Colombia, and you could tell this dude is part of like the gorilla or something,
Cartels or something,
bro,
man.
because he's like out there in the jungle with like
Yeah.
ARs and all this stuff, and I'm like, nah, bro, I'm not even talking to this guy. Like, I don't, I don't know
You're
what
gonna be
he,
like Fast and Furious,
bro. He's
Sabr.
yeah, bro. Like he's like you could tell he's part of FARC. You know what FARC is?
Yeah, I know, Park.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bro. Nah, I'm like, come on, man. They're gonna be like, and then probably because my picture has some Arabic in there. You know what,
Yeah.
bro? I'm gonna tell you another story. Last time, this girl like with her hijab and everything started liking my gun pictures, bro. I blocked her, bro. I'm like, nah, I don't need this. They're like, they're like, come on, man. First of all, if it would have been a real Muslim female, she wouldn't have liked my gun pictures or would have followed me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm like, no, I don't want to get caught up with none of this stuff, like pro terrorism or some dumb stuff like that.
Right, right, right.
You know, but yeah, man, it's crazy. I think I got a request for a guy asking me something about this fancy backpack kit where like you can mount scopes, and I forgot the name of it. So I started talking to the guy, and I'm like, man, check out these sites, and if you find something, I'll help you out, because he wasn't requesting anything crazy, just a 3D print build. But yeah, man, that's dope that you're trying to do the FFL stuff. So what are you
Yeah.
trying to do with your FFL, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, yeah, I want to do it for all the right reasons. There are people that they think what we're doing is cool shit,
Yes.
and it is. But some of them want it without learning, how to do it, buying
Correct.
themselves a 3D printer, stuff like that. And I mean, I've got like high school friends that are like, "Dude, that's so cool! I want one." Blah blah blah.
Yes.
And of course legally I can't give them one. And the only way to do it is to either have them get their own printer and kind of coach them through it, which some of them they're just not going to do it because they're not that type of person.
Yeah.
Or get an FFL and be like, "Hey, I'll do it for you, but it's gonna cost you $1,000, and I'm gonna have to put serial numbers on it and blah blah blah." And for
Correct.
some of them, they're like, "Dude, I'll give you $1,000." You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So
Especially if you customize it to their liking and you do certain stuff
exactly.
that yeah, that's what a lot of people don't understand. If
Mhm.
if you get into it for customization, there's money in this.
Absolutely.
Because there's people that like it's say let's say you're ex-military. If you do things that military people will like, that's your niche. So it just depends. You find your niche, you get in there, you grow, and you do it, and it'll be dope, man. Like I'll be cheering for you. Hopefully all that goes your way, because I think that could help. Like I tell a lot of people, this 3D printing is a way of me coping, and I don't even realize it sometimes. I don't know if you know, but like I lost my son, then I lost my stepdad to ALS, and then on Friday, bro. Yeah, I think last Friday I lost my brother-in-law. So
Oh man,
yeah,
that's a lot of loss. I'm sorry for
yeah.
that.
So you know how they say bad things come in three. Well, that was the third
Well,
thing. So
yeah,
hopefully I don't get anything else. But yeah, this guy I can't really talk about it because it's ongoing. All I could say is that he was murdered.
oh
Um,
man,
and what sucks about it is that all that week before he got murdered, he was here, man. He was happy. He was with his daughter because that's uh, my sister, her ex husband, and he was what this guy was probably like 30. Yeah, he was just 30, and he was playing with his daughter. His daughter's birthday. He got murdered on Friday to be Saturday morning, and his daughter's birthday was on Monday. So, dealing with all this stuff, a lot of people will say like, "Man, he's not part of your family or anything like that." He is because he's my daughter. He's my niece's dad, and now my
oh
niece is gonna have to live without a father, and she's only 5. And then
oh,
that just
man,
brings flashbacks. To makes me remember me losing my son, me losing. Like people don't realize that any little thing
yeah,
could trigger. And having the show, having the 3D printing, having makes me keep going and not sit here and overthink. And
yeah,
that's
man,
that's what helps.
that's that's really important. To find support network and a sense of purpose to keep you going, man. I'm glad you were able to find that. And again, I'm sorry for your losses.
No, man, thank you, appreciate it. Like I tell people, it's part of life. It's weird, but it's part of life. But at the end of the day, I have this. Like you said, the community is very welcoming.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, you wanted to ask me about my fundraiser?
Oh yeah, 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 man. So let's talk about that infamous fundraiser, bro.
So, trolling. I would say trolling's my middle name, but it's actually like my first name.
Okay.
The fundraiser is for every town, right? Every town for gun safety, which is a very leftist, liberal, like anti-gun, gun grabbing organization.
Oh
They'll take
shit.
away every gun if you let them. So
Oh
I was like,
shit.
you know what? I've been tagging them on all my posts lately, and I don't know. I started messing around with like Instagram, seeing what else I could do with it, and I saw the fundraiser thing. I'm like, wait a minute,
Bro, but like
so
certain people are not gonna know what it means, bro. And what are they
yeah,
doing?
but I think most of my followers are gonna know, at least the ones that I would be very surprised if anybody donates to it at all, because they either like know, or they just they don't want to donate, or they don't have money or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I'm going to donate to something, I'm going to check it out
Yeah,
first,
yeah, for
right?
sure. Hey,
So
so
yeah, it's nothing but a big troll,
all
man.
right. So how did you get your name? How did you go about the name you have, man?
I don't know. It's just I kind of envision like a bunch of trolls sitting around like building guns, man, and trolling everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of it, man. I like to troll people, organizations and stuff. I mean, fuck everybody, the ATF, FBI,
Yeah, yeah.
I'll troll anybody. I'm an equal opportunity troller, man.
Man, that's dope. I kind of had a feeling that's what you meant with your name. At the same time, I was just like, man, maybe he's a big old troll just working on shit in his cave, or whatever
Yeah.
trolls live. I don't know.
I mean, I kind of use that too, but
Dope,
like
man.
I put the latest from the troll cave on my Joker build, so
Yeah, cause like you said, the community does have a lot of trolls, and we do have a lot of meme guns. I mean, would you expect the what was it, Glock and balls? What are they trying to name it?
yeah, the Glock and balls, yeah.
I would have never expected that name. And then you had a chairman come up with the what was it?
The Glong, what's
Yeah.
it called, the Glong?
So,
Yeah.
do you know any CAD, man? Are you good with CAD or no?
I do a little bit, man. I started on Tinkercad, and actually, I don't know if anybody's. I don't think anybody's downloaded this yet, but the shroud. I built that. It's for the Maxim 9, and it's like a shroud that fits over the light attachment. And I actually sell it with complete with like a rail system because it's a major improvement to the way the light sits on the Maxim. But I taught myself through using Tinkercad how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So the entire shroud was done on Tinkercad, and then lately I've been kind of teaching myself some Fusion 360. Because the one thing I really do want to be able to do is
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much I'm going to want to like build new gun designs,
Correct.
but I do want to be able to personalize them. So like making sure I can either put somebody's name on it or like their company logo or whatever. I already have a request from one of my high school friends. His wife wants like a purple Glock 19 with a compatible with like her company logo on it and shit. She saw the Louis Vuitton thing that
Yeah.
I posted, and she's like, "I want that in purple, but with my own company logo." I'm like, "Okay, I could probably do that for you. You're gonna have to give me a few months. Let me get my FFL, and then."
Hey, so what do people say when you go to the shooting ranges and you bust out your stuff, man?
Dude, most of them fucking love it, and
Yeah.
honestly, some of them have never fired at like a 3D printed gun before. So there's still that belief that it's going to blow up the first time you try to shoot around through it.
Yeah, correct.
Gotta fight that a lot, Sometimes you gotta like be the first one to shoot it, so they see, hey, you just put a mag or two through it. It's not gonna blow up on you, and then they might, try to shoot a couple rounds. And I would say, generally speaking, man, the younger the people are, the more receptive they are to it,
Mm-hmm.
and the older guys, the old fuds, they gotta, you gotta do some convincing with them. But that's
Yeah.
okay though, because like I already know all the gun store owners in this area, and I want to, pretty soon I want to just like have a day where I just invite them all out to shoot with me,
No, that'll
and
be cool, man.
nothing like 3D printed guns, right?
Yeah, that'll be cool.
And then that's kind of like step two, assuming I already have my FFL by that point, I can be like, hey, you know, would you mind carrying one or two of these in your store to see what kind of response you get? And you don't have to even sell it to them. You can have them just point them towards me or whatever if they're not comfortable with selling a 3D printed gun.
Yeah.
Because I get it. Like they're kind of worried about probably liability too. So that's something that I wouldn't ask them to take responsibility for yet.
Correct.
But
I
I think like we're headed that direction where pretty soon a 3D printed gun could be considered as dependable as a injection molded gun. I mean,
Oh, for sure,
it's
man. I mean, if you saw the rate my build, if you saw that FN that they made, that FN was nice. It was impeccable. And then if you have you seen the stuff that P80 Ralph is doing, where he like
it's
puts it in a oven or whatever. You know what I mean? What is that called?
yeah, annealing it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I've been annealing too. Like
oh,
mostly,
okay.
I've been annealing. I don't use the oven though. I use like boiling water,
Mhm.
which is it's a lower temperature than the oven, but I mean it's rapid heating, and then you can instantly drop it into ice water and crystallize it that way. So
Okay. So
that,
how do you do it? Could you explain?
yeah. So bottom line is, you take your print. The first time you might have to do it twice, right? But you take your print and you put it on something like you drape it in, let's say, a cloth, right? Something where the water is going to go through quickly, but it's going to be well supported because
Correct.
it is when it gets hot, it's going to get soft, right?
Yes.
And if it gets too soft, if you don't have it, if you don't have the right kind of support for it, like you put it on a coat hanger or something, it's just going to like probably pull through when you try to pull it out. But so
Mhm.
you put it in like a cloth and then you drop it down into the boiling water, and depending on the type of part you have and the material you use, it's that will determine how long you leave it in for. And then you pull it out and immediately put it in like ice water,
Oh,
and that will crystallize the outer edge and make it like super hard. So when you use the boiling water method, not going to be it's not going to be as heat resistant as if
correct.
you use a higher temps with like the sand or the salt or whatever you're going to use. But it does increase the hardness
So
quite a
it
bit.
it makes it a little bit more stronger, right?
Bit harder, but you really need to get the higher temps for the heat resistance. So
Okay.
if it's cracking that's the problem, right? That's that's not heat resistance that you need to worry about. That's the strength of the build. So that's something that like a boiling water annealing process would work
Will
with.
help with. That's dope, man. I never heard of that till right now.
Yeah, and so the other thing that the reason I said you might have to do it twice is because like you put it in and you take it out, and when you're done, you got to measure it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you got to measure it, and because it might warp a little bit, and so if it like shrinks, and like it might shrink in, let's say, 2 dimensions and then lengthen in a third dimension, and so you kind of take note of that, and you do it exactly the same. You put it back in the supporting rag or whatever, exactly the same. Leave it in the boiling water for the same amount of time, and you do everything exactly the same. But when you do it the second time, you scale it in Cura so to account for that warpage,
Oh,
right?
okay. Yes.
When you're done with the annealing, it's exactly the right dimensions you need. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean. So I have a question. What do you want to see in the future with the 3D 2A community?
Um, First of all, I want to see us continue to support each other because typically what happens when you have like a hobby or an industry that continues to grow like this, you start to get division.
Correct.
And that, like, I kind of think it's inevitable, but I really don't want to see it. I would love it if, like, 5, 10 years from now, we're all still as cool as we are right now.
Yes.
And, we're not all like hating on each other and stuff. Because almost everything that starts off as a small community, it starts really cool. And then it's just like they start hating on each other. And gaming's a perfect example of that, man.
Yeah.
Like, I remember back in the days when like online gaming was very like nerdy, kind of not very common.
Correct.
Of course, I'm older, but it's like everybody was super cool to each other because oh my god, you were on the internet too. You were like one of those 1 out of 100 or
Yeah.
one out
You
of a
were
thousand
one of a
people.
few.
Yeah, and like everyone was super cool, man, and like now everybody's so nasty to everybody, on gaming, man. Everybody's like just salty and rude. Like I want to see that happen in the 3D printed community.
Yeah, I understand. Like
It,
a division, right? I think.
it, the
Well,
3D printed community is not the same as the gun community at large. It's
correct.
like there's a lot of division in the gun community at large, but man, like we're pretty good. I mean, I know there's a little bit of a rift here and there, but we're still pretty good, and we treat our noobs pretty good too, man. Like we help each other out and we help them get started. I mean, there's like guide.controlpew.com. I mean, like, you know, we're encouraging people to get into this hobby, and
Yeah.
get started, and we're taking time out of our own schedule to help them out, and it's I hope it stays that way.
No, I think you're right. I think that's what me and I print shit were talking about, and we were saying that I think it gets to a time where you start joining groups, right? And
Hmm.
now because you're part of this group, you really don't really talk to this person because this person might be from another group, or you start bashing on each other, stuff like that, right? And I was telling
Yeah.
them, hey man, you know what? I want to remain neutral. Like I don't wanna. Sometimes when I start doing these podcasts or shows, as I'm planning to do more of this, I start thinking to myself, I want to keep it very neutral, because I like talking to everybody. I like dabbling. I like meeting you. Like, you know, hopefully when
Hmm.
people listen to the show, learn a little bit more about you and realize like, hey man, this guy is, he served our country. He's planning on actually doing something with this, as not just a hobby, but he wants to make this a career and a living because he loves it. And I want people to get that. So I was kind of telling them, I kind of want to be like the John Crump of 3D printing, where
Yeah.
everybody goes to John's show. That's what I wanted to. I wanted to stay like that because, like I said, this community has helped me become a better person, and also has helped me cope with certain stuff in my life at that moment. And I think a lot of us have our shadows, our demons, whatever you want to call it. And I believe being part of this community is either helping tame them or helping us get over that hurdle or that moment in our life at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
One last question before we stop. What would you like to see change? I know you said that you want something a little what we talked about earlier, but what's something that you really don't like about the community? Not in a bad way, but just you want to see less of.
Yeah. So I don't like the ATF's involvement in it. um,
I second that.
um, yeah. First of all, I don't want to see any more gun control laws being passed. Right? Gun control doesn't work. It's been proven over and over again. The places with the strictest gun control have the most crime.
Look
Right?
at California.
Places. Yep. California, Chicago, New York. Right. The
Yep.
places with the most relaxed gun control or no gun control have usually the least crime, right?
Correct.
Texas has a very high concealed carry rate and a correspondingly low crime rate, right? Because if you know that like every fifth person out there has a gun, what are the chances of somebody going to rob you?
Yeah.
Does it happen still? Yes. And who do they go for? They go for the ones that look like,
They don't have a
like
gun.
sheep, right? Easy targets. They don't go for the lions. So, um, and then, I think, first of all, what we're doing, in terms of building our own guns at home for our own purposes, it's not a crime, all right? It shouldn't be a crime anywhere on Earth, much less, here in the United States. And I understand there are people that are, dealing with states that aren't very gun friendly, that think making your own gun is a crime. But that's all bullshit, man. The Second Amendment is about as clear as it gets. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, right? It can't be written any clearer than that. But it takes us to stand up to politicians so that they don't pass more restrictive gun laws, that they don't take all our stuff away. And the non-politicians, right, the unelected officials that are making regulations, that are making rules that basically turn us into criminals overnight, i.e. the ATF, right? So, they make a decision, a ruling on, let's say, a forced reset trigger or a stock
Yeah.
versus a brace, or a,
Bump stock.
what's it called, the bump stock, and people turn into felons overnight. Okay,
Correct.
that shit needs to stop, right? If you're out there in the ATF and you're like senior management, just talk to your coworkers, your peers, your bosses, and just tell them to stop this shit. Okay, it doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. If the Constitution is written a certain way, and there are elected officials that are supposed to be making the laws. They're called senators and House representatives, right? They're the ones that are supposed to make the laws, and then the president is supposed to sign the laws sign the bills into law, right? Agencies aren't supposed to be making laws for the people.
No.
Okay, they're not supposed to be. It was never intended that way in the Constitution. So if our elected officials feel strongly enough about something, they should be able to pass the law on it. They shouldn't depend on an agency, a letter agency, to do it for them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I don't know how to be any clearer on that. Like, I don't believe what what the ATF's rulings come out to be. I don't believe that they're what our
Constitutionally correct.
forefathers intended. Okay,
Correct.
I just don't. You know, it shall not be infringed, clear as day, and yet all we get is infringement.
Yeah, we get the opposite. It's just like what's going on right now with the polymer 80s, right? Where they're trying, and especially the lowers and the uppers, where now they're trying to say they're gonna be serialized. Well, just okay. Well, now they want them to serialize them, but now parts that we could buy, like slides, barrels, all that stuff, now they're trying to throw it into the mix, saying that now that's gonna have to be serialized, and
Mm-hmm.
that does not make sense. How are you gonna make something like parts?
Yeah, I agree. So, and that's one of those things that was driving me to build my own guns in the first place. Is that you go out and you buy. Like, I think most people's first home built ghost gun was some type of 80%, like a polymer 80 or
Yeah,
whatever, 80% arms, and that's an easy way to start. Like, build your own gun. And then some of us branched out to 3D printing or like metal, ghost gunning.
correct.
But the truth is that all those things are going to end up being strictly regulated, like in most other countries.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really want something that's not on the books, I mean, yes, there's the stuff we already have, but in the future, you're not going to be able to go get, let's say, a polymer 80 probably,
No,
or an 80% arms without getting it a serial number and going through a background check and all that stuff. So then, if you still want to do it at home on your own, what are you left with? You're left with guns that are completely 3D printed, or that assemble with a few parts you get from like Lowe's or Home Depot. And so
correct.
I kind of think that's really the future. Like, what kind of gun can you build by walking into a Lowe's or a Home Depot and
Shotgun.
walking out, paying cash for it, walking out with a bag and going home and building it.
Mm-hmm.
Even Amazon has announced they're gonna tighten up on 3D printing.
Really?
Yeah. So they announced, I guess, the other day that they're gonna kick the other 3D printers off their site because they're gonna come out with their own line
What?
and their own material, and everything that goes through Amazon, of course, is tracked and shared
Exactly.
with the feds anyway.
Yes.
So
So they're gonna know who has a machine.
they're going to be like, "Oh, these
Mm-hmm.
guys are ordering 15 rolls a month.
Exactly.
Let's go raid their shit."
Mm-hmm.
So
You know what?
yeah,
It's funny that you bring this up because I was actually again reading something like this that they were saying that we need to start being careful because everybody was saying, oh well, if they ban P80s, then everybody's just gonna go into 3D printing. Now people were saying, just wait a minute. Once they start realizing that you could 3D print the stuff, I mean, they pretty much already know, but then they're gonna start where they're gonna make you get a tax stamp for your 3D printer, or you're gonna have to have a special type of license in order for you to manufacture stuff at home, and that's how they're gonna get us.
yep, yeah, it's all coming. You're going to
Yeah,
see more regulation, more control, more licensing, more.
facts.
In the end, it comes down to they're going to create a list, right? And you're going to be on it, and then they're going to monitor everything you do. So,
Yep.
um, if it comes down to registering a printer or not registering a printer, I'm not registering a damn printer.
No.
They kiss my ass.
You know what?
You know.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. And I've told certain people this, but I'm just gonna say it out on this show. I don't care really. Um, a lot of people are concerned with the ghost guns and a 3D printed gun. And I'm gonna tell you guys this. I live in a place where there's a lot of criminal activity because of the toughness in gun laws. And I'll tell you this. Allegedly, I've seen a lot of guns that are serialized, that are being used by people that are not outstanding citizens.
Mm-hmm.
Most
Yeah,
of the
absolutely.
guns they have are serialized guns that
Yep.
were or obtained by whatever way they were obtained. I don't know. I do not know, but I'm just letting you guys know that half of these guns out, more than half of these guns that are being used by these criminals or illegally, are not P80s, are not 3D printed guns. They're guns that have a serial number.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the other interesting fact is that there has never been a murder weapon that has been proven to be a 3D printed gun, right?
Yes.
There have been ghost guns, the untrackable guns, guns with serial numbers scratched off, stuff like that. Um, but as far as being able to be proven that this 3D printed gun was the actual murder weapon, to the best of my knowledge, that's never been proven.
Knock on wood,
Now,
man.
I do know they say they keep finding more and more ghost guns at crime scenes.
Yeah.
Well, interestingly, ghost guns are more and more of the gun population in general, right? It's a growing segment of the gun population, so you would expect it to also grow within the, found at crime scene um, group, right? So
Correct.
the other thing is, like, they found it at a crime scene. They say that stuff. They use those words. Well, guess what? If they raid somebody's house because they're selling drugs, and they see a polymer 80 or a 3D printed gun or whatever, they're it's a crime scene, but
Yes.
that doesn't mean that that gun was used in a crime. You know what
Correct.
I mean? So their wording, they're going to use their wording to push their agenda, and their
Mm-hmm.
ultimate agenda is gun control. And it's not gun control, really, it's population control.
Yes.
Because once they take the guns, then
Control the
the
people.
people have no way to fight back, right?
Just like, okay, like the way you were saying about wording, the same thing comes for if they say ghost guns. A lot of the times what they mean is it's just guns that they cannot find the serial number, or the serial number has been scratched off, and they'll
Mm-hmm.
call it a ghost gun,
Yep.
because a ghost gun is something that cannot be traced, and
Correct.
they've been doing the same, using that terminology since, you know I think the 80s or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, man. I was gonna say, if you want to shout out your info, let people know how to find you.
Yeah, absolutely. So my Gmail is trollwerks2A at gmail.com. I am the most active on Instagram, and that's at Trollwerks, and that's TROLLWERKS. So E instead of O. And then I do have a Facebook. I do have a YouTube, but I'm not very active on them. I have an account on DefCat. I uploaded my first project there, the shroud for the Maxim 9,
Mm-hmm.
and that I just got a notification like a few minutes ago that it's now live on DefCat, so go check it out, and it's also up on Odyssey.
All
And
right.
that's Odyssey is ODYSEE. So definitely check it out, man. Trollwerks, and I do have one more Trollwerks.atf on Instagram. So
That's dope.
obviously, I'm trolling the ATF with that one.
Go follow his stuff, guys. I will link everything underneath. And it was great talking to you, man. I learned a lot from you. And one more time, thank you for your service, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you. It was great talking to you, and hopefully, we have some more of these in the future, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, check this out. Now that you brought that up, we are starting a show, and the show's going to be on Saturday. So if we do need any guests, are you willing to come to the show?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I love to get together with the guys and chat.
All right, man. That's dope. We'll work on that. All right.
All right, cool, man.
All
Cool.
right.
You
Thank you,
have a great
man.
night.